Black companies, a term labeling employers that engage in unethical or exploitative behaviors at the expense of their employees' well-being for profit. So really, your typical multi-million-dollar corporation. I would know, I work in one, and we call it business as usual, or just another day in the office. While it is a widely known and accepted open secret, we still like to keep it hush-hush. It not only sounds, but it is unethical and morally reprehensible by today's standards. So no sensible corpo would openly out themselves to the public like this.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
It is the very nature of business and profit. Hence the saying, it's nothing personal, it's just business. There will always be exploitation to some degree. That is a given in any for-profit organization. I know I'm generalizing here, but let me give you another measure to help you understand black companies just a bit better. Ask yourself, to what degree of exploitation does your company engage in? What shade of black is the company mission and vision? Ask yourself, how black your company is today. And you just pick the one that you can tolerate the most.
How could you all allow that to happen? You can always be the driving force for change, to create a healthy and safe working environment.
Hate to break it to you, buddy, but the only thing you can change in the black company is yourself. Especially when the black company has grown or has been around for a substantial amount of time. It is a guaranteed loss when there's even the slightest bit of resistance to change. I've been playing these stupid games so many times before. I mean, yes, it does suck to know that you are working for a black company, but people gotta make ends meet, and not everyone has the luxury of choice. I know I don't. See, black companies are like mythical hydras, a multi-headed snake where you cut off one head and two grow back in its place. It's virtually impossible to slay something like that on your own. God knows I've tried. Day after day, fighting the good fight. Continuing to do the right thing for years now. Even when you win, you still lose. Such is life in a black company. But ever so often, an opportunity presents itself where the Hydra somehow just fucks itself over. And there's a glimmer of hope of slaying such a monster, or at the very least, reminding it of its own mortality. A chance for real change. And that brings us to the main subject of this video. Nijisanji is a Japanese-based VTubing agency has recently come under fire of allegations of being a black company. Funny enough, the misadventures of this agency have been well documented by many different content creators. So if you're looking for a comprehensive, detailed timeline of events leading up to this point, or a full history of Nijisanji, then I recommend that you check them out first. This ever-growing PR trash fire rages on to this day. It has gotten so out of hand that it's broken out of the VTuber space. I'm already late to this party, so here's a quick summary of the current story beats if you somehow haven't heard of the situation. In the past few months, an EGEN liver, Selen Tatsuki, has been going through a process we call in corporate getting managed out. In layman's terms, corporate will push the limits of what they can legally do to drive an individual or team to leave the company either voluntarily or forcibly, resign or get fired, essentially. Selen, in collaboration with composers, artists, editors, and her fans, the Dragoons, have begun production on a music video set to premiere on Christmas Day for the whole world to enjoy. After going through the bureaucratic approval process of Nijisanji, the video goes live on time, only to go down in a few hours because management just doing management things. In her last act of rebellion against management, she asked on Twitter for the public to re-upload the video at the behest of management, as many Dragoons have put in a lot of time, work, and money, and it would be such a waste. She would go MIA for a bit, only to come back with a few ominous tweets. I know and have experienced being managed out before. I also know the feeling of seeking the end and personally know of those who are now unalive. The catalyst for change should never be or have to be one's employment, let alone someone's life. But they continue to double down and publicly state that the impact of her termination to their financial result was negligible at best. What the fuck are you doing? Are they trying to be evil? This isn't some fucking TV show or game where you can write your deplorable actions with no consequence. It's been made a lot worse, knowing that the statement was still made despite knowing of her attempts of permanent sleep. I'm just lucky enough that my black company has no object permanence, but that is a tale for another time. They continue to make piss-poor public decisions day after day. Every few days, there's always something happening. I'll be honest, it's quite astonishing. See, as a black company employee myself, I've been through my share of controversies, grievances, HR, and lawsuits. Change is often only done when it becomes a legal requirement. Proactive change is very rare. So it was clear to me the many different paths Nijisanji would eventually take. And I haven't seen much of the way of people discussing all the long-term options moving forward. But then again, since their management have wisened up and called for an emergency meeting behind closed doors, we can't say 100% what they are scheming. But for any real change to happen, not only does it have to come from within, but it has to come from high up. Anyone and everyone who works in a black company is guilty of participating in all the exploitative shit. No one is excluded from that. But remember, not all employees in a black company chooses to be there. But the core of the issues must be addressed, because if not, then the same shit is going to keep happening over and over again. But I'm not saying that the other livers that are alleged in participating in the many different controversies should automatically be absolved. But I implore you all to please hold on. We all have our suspicions, and it's just too easy to act out and witch hunt. In the court of public opinion, individuals should be viewed innocent until proven guilty without a shadow of a doubt. We will never truly know the full story with all the NDAs and legalities in place to protect that information. So, if you're a current Niji-ian liver, I would advise you to get out while you still can. Keep whatever reputation and respect you still have. And that goes doubly for the employees as well. To plan an exit strategy for yourselves, should things continue the way that they are. Management have shown that they are not beyond using you and the fans as shields for their transgressions and fuel to fill their coffers. It's only a matter of time before they'll regard your termination as negligible. To the livers, remember, the fans came to support you, not the corpo. I understand why you didn't and couldn't speak up publicly on the many different controversies. Your hands were tied. I know, I've been there. But in the midst of all this chaos, there's an opportunity for you to take your fate back into your own hands. You can fight or take flight, but don't just do nothing. I know and I want to believe that you are all better than that. Abandon ship or help sink it. Ultimately, it is your choice. But if you do nothing, I can tell you right now that if and when this does blow over, it's going to be the same shit over and over again. And just to reiterate, it's only going to be a matter of time before it's your turn to be on management's shit list. In whatever you do, I can only really hope that you don't come to regret it. Give it a think. I mean, what's management gonna do now that they have to fend for themselves? Objectively, the best option for the livers and employees to all come together in collective action and engage in civil discussions with corporate. It's also the most boring option for everybody else, because we will never really know what's going on in the back, unless management will share it, and they probably won't. But in the off chance that they will take this option, it's going to be a long road to recovery, as they have a lot to work on if the allegations within the company are true. And I firmly believe that they are. There's no denying that this whole ordeal will be a permanent mark on Nijisanji's reputation. It doesn't mean it has to be the only mark. You cannot erase the past, but the past should not define you or who you will be. And they have the choice to admit the wrongdoings and right the wrongs and end this bloodbath. Rebuild and recover. And don't just be sorry, be better. Maybe exploit each other less, or have better mutual exploitation, or even work towards an equal exchange. It would be such a good ending to the story so far. But I won't hold my breath for this one. A lot of the times, management have grown to enjoy playing stupid games and everyone else wins the stupid prizes. The power and money is just too hard to let go, even if none of it has been earned. I want to give management the benefit of the doubt, but without transparency and open communication, they'll only wisen up and make sure that any future situations will be squashed down forcefully and quickly with an iron fist. Management closes up Nijisanji EN. I mean, they've done it before. Scorched earth tactics. Let everyone fend for themselves and flee in the midst of the chaos. They have already thrown all the other talents under the bus. And all the while, the misguided VTuber fanbase are running rabid on the fumes of this ongoing trash fire, currently engaging in civil war with those who used to call their friends. I've seen this many times before on this side of the world. The big bosses always find a way to get out, and someone else always takes the fall. This is real life. Injustice happens all the time, and the survivors, in most cases, are left to pick up the pieces on their own. Let me remind you again that they've done it before. Who's to say they won't do it again? That's why I've come to the conclusion that Nijisanji and any color management have royally fucked up this time and should be punished. They have crossed this line way too many times. They are unashamed and have shown how blatantly uncaring they are as a talent agency. And to top it all off, they puff their chest out at the public, broadcasting for the whole world to see how arrogant and untouchable they think they are. And much like stupid people broadcasting themselves on the internet, it's time that we do our part in handing out all the stupid prizes that these degenerate corpo fucks have yet to claim. I can't speak for anyone else here. I'm no legal expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a journalist either, but I know what I am. A shitposting gamer. Let the lawyers and journalists do their thing. That's their field of expertise. But I want to address all the fans and supporters of Nijisanji, the VTubing community, and really everybody. Remember, who is ultimately responsible for this giant fucking circus? It's not the livers, it's not their supporters, it's not the content creators talking about this. It's Nijisanji and any color management. While Selen and the other livers acted as the catalyst for this implosion. Management were the ones who made the ticking time bomb, and they were the ones who pulled the trigger. It was going to happen one way or another, and they still continue to fuel the fire. As I said earlier, let the experts handle the situation behind closed doors. I can tell you right now that the full justice will never be delivered. The big bosses will probably leave this unscathed. But management has shown us something else that they care about, aside from themselves and their money. Their reputation. Imagine being part of management that caused the organizational collapse to be used and abused for the entertainment of the masses. That clot brain rot is also present in the corpo world. Nothing like the high of being part of history. So don't let them forget the days of the black rainbow. We won't be able to get them, but with enough pressure, I think they'll start attacking each other when there's no one else left to scapegoat. They have publicly revealed themselves to only be black and white. I think they misunderstood what the word color means. So they should be taught what an actual rainbow looks like. Let them be an example that no one, not even a corporal, is too big to fail.